naturopathic medicine, insights for successful living, and getting better with Ann Beal.
Good day, everyone. We are so glad you're joining us to get better. Our show, Getting Better, is to help you get better. And if you listen to this, you will get better. I have two wonderful men joining me today to share about Halloween, all about Halloween, and really what we are most concerned about if people aren't really in the celebrating mood because they're struggling. We want you to know there's hope through the struggle, and as you're passing through, we want to give you hope. The whole idea of Halloween is all about celebration, and we have Dr. Jim Slaughter to help us share today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Ann. Good having an opportunity to be with you again today. Appreciate it. Looking forward to it. I'm already feeling better.
Are you feeling better?
Yeah.
Well, and I have my orange on today. He actually was going to wear red. I'm like, you can't wear red. I have orange. It's Halloween. So we are excited about the holiday season starting. I call it that because, you know, Halloween is like you've got Halloween, then you have Thanksgiving, then you have Christmas, and then New Year's. And so for me, Halloween's the beginning of fall. But Dr. Slaughter, when we talk about Halloween, what comes to mind for you?
First thing that comes to mind to me is trick or treat and costume parties and things like that. I guess that would be the first thing that comes to mind. Yeah.
Well, and I think of preparing for winter. I know when the weather gets a little cool, and honestly, today it's like 83 degrees out. It's supposed to be today, so it kind of got warmer. But when it starts getting a cool breeze in the air and that smell of fireplaces, I always start thinking I got to prepare for the winter, batten down the hatches, take care of the pool, get everything set for winter. And I know back in the ancient times, that's really when Halloween started. That's kind of what was going on, right?
Yeah, in those days, last day of October was kind of considered by ancient peoples to be the beginning of winter. And so the harvest was in, the ground was no longer producing, fields lay fallow, that is, they were unproductive, and at that point, and it was cold, it was dark, and people just basically stayed inside to hunker down and ride out the winter. And it just seemed a time when it was dark and cold and the ground was dead. And so there were some real negative emotions, now we know, that came over people in those days at that time. And
I think there was a fear. I mean, when you think of dead, you think of everything. The crops were dead for the winter. Everything was kind of dead or dormant. And so people kind of do that. We all kind of get more cocoon-like and kind of cocoon in for the winter. We eat more and drink more and things like that. And that's one of the things that we want to make sure that you don't overdo that, you know?
Right. And which is another side line or point of our program today. How do you handle that? And then Thomas is going to be on next week to do that, to help us understand that a little bit better too.
Yes. And I know that in this time, people back then, they were trying to, you know, they had a lot of fear. So they were thinking that the dead came out and walked the streets. And so if they dressed up in costumes, they would fool them. The spirits wouldn't recognize them because they were in scary costumes too. And that was one of the things. Or if they carved a jack-o'-lantern, put a candle, that would protect them. They had all these ways based on fear. And of course, with God, we don't have to be afraid. And that is one of the coolest things. But for me, when the holidays start coming, I mean, I know people who have chronic pain or emotional pain, and the holidays just aren't as fun for them. They're trying to have a good time, and stress can cause that too, because this is the time, you know, eating makes us feel better, a lot better. Candy makes us feel better.
Well, and so, you know, that's true, at least for a while. The feeling better doesn't always last very long with those things. But so Halloween lends itself to that because it's a time when kids go out and ask for candy and that kind of thing. And you know, they're, like you said, those characteristics of the season, they spring from a superstition that was prevalent back in those days. And even I was thinking, one of the stories I love most is the Washington Irving story, you know, about the Headless Horseman of Sleepy Hollow.
The Headless Horseman.
Yeah, and so that story and stories like that sprang out of superstition. And we've sort of Christianized some of those superstitions at this point, and now we just simply celebrate that holiday as just a time to revel,
to have fun.
Yeah.
And I think that Christians can kind of, yeah, like to me, it's really gotten, when you say Christianized, I know that when we moved All Hallows Eve to the holiday season, it was to mess up the evil stuff. But really, I mean, it really is, we just have fun. I think people have taken all the evil out of it. It's just to have fun and enjoy.
Seems like that. Yeah.
And so we're all for that. We're for enjoying life and getting better. As part of us to have fun. But I do, when I think of the people who are suffering in some way, you know, with the holidays coming, and if you have chronic pain or emotional pain or even pain that you don't really know about, but you are eating too much or drinking too much, we want to kind of address that.
Right. And, you know, part of the problem is this is a time of year. I mean, we see more depression during the winter because it's dark and cold and all those things we mentioned, right?
And of course, here it's been raining and raining and raining and raining and raining.
Right. And so we see more of those kinds of things, depression, anxiety. And unfortunately, a lot of people think the way you take care of that and you heal that emotional pain is by using alcohol or eating sweets or whatever. And so we reach out for unhealthy pleasures rather than healthy ones in order to meet our own needs. But often that just makes things worse.
Yes, it makes things worse. And honestly, when we talk about suffering, there is such a great biblical character to look at, Joseph and the 11 brothers are being thrown in the pit. And when you think of Joseph, I mean, the cool thing about Joseph is we see, like, unlike most biblical characters, we get to see really his whole life,
right? Which
we don't see really with any other character much. We just see little pieces here and there. But Joseph suffered, you know, but he suffered in a way that I think pastors, I mean, there's some cool things about it in that, I say cool, that he was his brothers threw him in a pit, and then he went to a palace, and then he went to prison, and then he went to a palace. I mean, those 4 P's, you know how churches can do PP. They like those. It's like, but he did suffer immensely, but he passed through that, even though it was a very long time. I mean, we were talking about that today. How long was he in prison?
It looked like it was around maybe 7 or 8 years, I guess.
You were saying maybe 14.
Well, 13. He came into Potiphar's house.
Okay, the whole thing. So when did he get thrown in the pit? Like he was like,
we really don't know that. The text doesn't say that, but because of what we do know happened, I'm thinking it was probably maybe 7 or 8 years in prison.
Yeah, but in the pit, maybe he was.
Oh, in the pit.
Yeah, when did he get thrown in the pit?
Just momentarily, because his brothers put him in a pit.
At 7.
And they were still. He was 17 years old.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking.
Oh, okay. Right.
So he was a teenager. So that was a whole lot of his life. But so you know, the thing that Joseph says, though, that is so cool. He said clearly, and he said that verse, Genesis, I think 50, 20.
50-20, right.
He says what Satan meant for evil, God uses for good. And is that exactly how it went?
Almost. I mean, he was talking about, he said this actually to his brothers after he was reconciling with them way in the future of that. But he said, you meant this for evil for me, that you put me in the pit and then sold me, and this all happened to me. But what he was aware of, he said, but God meant that for good. And so that many lives would be saved, he added on to that. And so Joseph was an instrument of salvation for the whole North Africa, actually, but for Egypt in particular, and for the Hebrews during that time as well.
Well, and I think that when he talked about, it's repeated again in Romans 8:28.
The New Testament kind of version of that, right?
Yeah.
And God causes all things to work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. So we know that God, both in the Old Testament and the New Testament, those Bible books tell us and demonstrate that God brings order out of chaos. He brings good from evil, and that there is purpose even in suffering, and that eventually it will end up in good things coming about.
Yes, and so when we talk about that, like I'm making coffee out there, but I didn't bring it in. So I think of, you know, when I say coffee is good, right? If I said, if I had it, I'd say coffee is good because I love coffee. But what do I mean by that? Do I mean that?
You mean the water's good?
The hot water is good. The hot water is good. The coffee grinds are good. The filter is good. No, I don't mean that. What I mean is it all comes together in a specific way, at the right time, in the oversight of a coffee machine, like the right coffee machine or barista.
Or a barista. Yeah.
And it all comes out and is used for good.
Yeah, and that's a good illustration. I sometimes use the illustration of a cake. Sugar is the only ingredient usually in a cake that tastes good, but when you put it all together and bake it for a period of time, you have something nice as a dessert. So it's
wonderful.
Yeah.
And so part of it is, cancer is never good. Cancer, the Bible doesn't say cancer is good. The Bible doesn't say if you lose a child, it's good. Those are all really horrendous things to have happen.
Yes.
But what it says is that it'll all come together eventually to be in the ultimately be used for good. And maybe that ultimate is when you pass away. Like by the time you pass away, you might not even see it. And so I have a brother who is bedbound. He's getting better, but he is and so he motivates my life because he has such a great personality, such a great attitude, and yet he can barely move. Right. And he motivates me in so many ways that I don't get down about like little things. I call them little. I do call them little no matter what happens to me because I don't suffer like that.
Yeah, compared to him, it's small.
Yeah. And that for him, his life is a testimony to me. And I know that people are so affected by him because he was like such an incredible person. And he was the music leader for the church and such a godly man. And look what's happened to him. And he's been this way for, it's an evolving sickness that's, gone in and out and in and out. And so for me, that is such a testimony to me. And I know his life has been a testimony to so many people. I don't even know how much he knows that. And so I think about him and I think, it does. I mean, look what he's done for people. And yet, it may feel like when it's happening to you and you're passing through this, that there isn't anything. So we are the next segment of the show. In the second half, we're going to have Chris Craig, who's an incredible specialist in pain management, chronic pain, massage therapist, which are hard to find to really do well with chronic pain. We're going to have him on. Right.
And that's a really, Chris is a great guy to have on now because he deals with pain. And pain is one of the things, emotional pain, even physical pain, that people we'll use alcohol, we'll use food and a number of different things like that to try and get rid of that pain. And Chris has a much more healthy way to do that.
And we really, anything we can do to help people really help people off the ledge, help people make good decisions, help them out of their addiction, help them with any of their suffering. And we all suffer in different ways, right? To help you think through it. Really anything we can do to help you think better and live better. Absolutely. Is what we're here for.
And to make choices for healthy pleasures rather than unhealthy pleasures.
Yes, which we're gonna share those with you because there's lots of really good things. Because what we're worried about mostly, it's like great times are wonderful, but that doesn't worry us, right? Nobody worries about good things. Good things are great. What we worry about is despair. Despair is, Max Lucado calls it the petri dish for disaster.
Right, exactly. And those of you who have taken biology courses know that a petri dish is just that small, that flat dish that they grow, that's a culture for growing bacteria. And so that's a good illustration because that's what despair does. It grows a kind of physical and emotional bacteria in us that's very difficult to put away.
It's so hard. And when you get in despair, you get down emotionally, physically, everything in your body. If anybody, there's a book called Deadly Emotions that talks about that. And that is such a good book, just so you don't despair. So our show, basically, we want to teach you that there are so many things that you can do to feel better, but also while you're passing through this suffering, God uses it for good altogether, for the ultimate good.
Joseph's story shows that better than any.
It does. And I think Joseph is such a great theology for suffering. And so we're going to look at that more. And then, of course, we'll have Chris on to give us lots of skills for chronic pain. And we just want you guys to be able to grow and grow and grow and understand that you can get through it, passing through the pain. So stay right here, and when we'll get right back here.
Life Solutions Coaching and Counseling in Hazlet, Texas is a full-service wellness clinic providing individual, group, and family counseling, one-on-one coaching for life and wellness, and naturopathic treatments of medical massage therapy combined with essential oils to ensure you reach your health and wellness goals. Sessions are available in person or by phone. Get started on your new life today. Just call 817-232-1363 or go to LifeSolutionsCoachingandCounseling.com or email them at LifeSolutionsCC@yahoo.com.
This is a national health alert from the Healthcare Hotline. Are you on Medicare and or have private insurance and suffer from back pain? MD Topical has a solution for you. Today, you can qualify to receive a pain-relieving treatment, such as a comfortable back brace or a customized pain treatment at little or no cost. Call MD Topical toll-free now, 888-998-7225. It just takes a couple of minutes to qualify for these amazing treatments that have helped thousands of people with severe pain. Your personalized pain treatment will be delivered directly to your door. Call MD Topical toll-free, 888-998-7225, 888-998-7225, or go to mdtopical.com and get started on your road to a pain-free life. Call MD Topical toll-free, 888-998-7225, or go to mdtopical.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that not only recommend it, but use Balance of Nature as well.
I look at Balance of Nature and I look what it's doing for me as I've started taking it, and for the patients that I have that are taking it, it's been phenomenal watching the changes that have happened and how much healthier and how much more energy that they have. I haven't heard any negative feedback from any of my patients who have been taking the product. The thing that amazes me with it is that it's so simple.
When you call, use discount code USA, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code USA.
Want a great deal on a great car? Come to Central Auto House. Smart car buyers know that a quality pre-owned car can save you a lot of money. The industry leaders at Central Auto House all say, let someone else pay for the depreciation while you get a late model, low mileage vehicle to fit your taste and your needs. You'll find sports cars, SUVs, family sedans, trucks, and lots more. The Central Auto House team believes in fair prices and superior service. Check out their current inventory online at centralautohouse.com. That's centralautohaus.com. And test drive the car of your dreams in Dallas at 10550 Plano Road, or come to 640 South Central Expressway in Richardson. You'll be impressed by the selection of cars, the financing options available, and their service during and after the sale. Central Auto House is more than a dealership, it's an experience. Central Auto House, Richardson, 972-437-5555, 972-437-5555, or in Dallas, 214-377-9010, 214-377-9010, or go to centralautohouse.com.
Were you scammed into signing a timeshare contract? And did you miss the part that said you have to pay for your great idea? Not only for the rest of your life, but when you're not here anymore, you get to pass this turkey onto your family for them to pay for the rest of their lives. Thanks, Dad. Don't burden your family down the road, and don't be stuck with expensive timeshare payments forever. Get out of your bad idea timeshare contract guaranteed, or pay nothing. Call Resort Release today and learn for free how their timeshare exit team can help you legally exit your timeshare contract. They've helped thousands of people, and they're A+ rated with a BBB. So if you feel scammed, get mad and get out of your expensive timeshare contract right now, guaranteed. Call NOW.
800-455-7967. 800-455-7967. 800-455-7967. That's 800-455-7967.
To admit it's getting better, a little better all the time.
If you'd like to get better, call Ann right now. 214-810-8255. 214-810-TALK. Now more with Ann Beal on 1160 AM KBDT.
Yes, and I want to make sure that you know it's 1160 AM KBDT News Talk Sports.
Right.
And that it's the Notre Dame channel, and the Notre Dame game is today, and they're having a cool get-together at the Fox and Hound tonight. So I wanted to make sure that you guys knew that. I don't know if there's anything else I was supposed to say about that. But,
Not that I know of.
So we were talking about really getting through suffering. And one of the things that I think of one of the women that I think of, I actually have a friend who interviewed Corrie ten Boom. And she was...
many of you know that Corrie ten Boom was a child during the Second World War. She was Dutch, and her family hid Jewish refugees who were in trouble and sought out by the Nazi police force. And so she lived through that, and now her story's been told over and over. And
didn't they get taken prisoners though? Didn't they actually get captured?
Her family?
Yes.
I think they discovered them, yeah.
Yeah. And so she really believed she was going to die. She did. And her book is incredible. She wrote a book, and many people have written stuff about her experiences. But if you can imagine being in the camps and having to hide as a child, her whole family they were hiding Jewish people, keeping them safe. And so there were many times she thought she would die. And she wrote this poem called The Tapestry, but most people I think most people call it The Weaving. But she says life is but a weaving. After many years of suffering and the whole thing that she went through, she said, my life is but a weaving between my God and me. I cannot choose the colors he weaveth steadily. Oft times he weaveth sorrow, and in my foolish pride, forget he seeks the upper and I the underside. Nor not till the loom is silent and the shuttles cease to fly will God unroll the canvas and reveal the reason why. The dark threads are as needful in the weaver's skillful hand as the threads of gold and silver in the pattern he has planned. He knows, he loves, he cares. Nothing does truth condemn. He gives the very best to those who leave the choice to him. Most people that have told me about that poem, they said they cry when they read it because they know how much suffering she went through. And I don't think it's anything that we can really imagine. So when we share with you that you can get through it, you can pass through. Corrie ten Boom is such a great example. My brother is such a great example. And we are joined now by our wonderful pain management. He's laughing. You are Chris Craig, our specialist in chronic pain massage therapist. Welcome to the show. Talk louder.
Okay.
So, well, Chris, and you chose to, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, we turned you up.
Now we can hear you.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
He's really a funny guy. I can't believe he's being so calm. Chris, you do well with chronic pain, and you actually target that in your practice in massage therapy. Why is that?
It's one of those things of it's cringy for me to see people live that way. And I never had experienced it in my life until I went through an injury myself. And then at that point, yeah, I know what I had to do through it. And a lot of people don't even know where step one is. So it's nice to be able to get people down the road where so many people think they're stuck for life and they're not. So it's just a passion of mine now, and it's turned into a career. So
Yes. Well, and you do so well with people. Now, one of the things that I know, it is his passion, because we've had people do it before, but he goes to the nth degree and will spend so much time with people. And the lady you saw the other day in the wheelchair, we all noticed, and so did her husband, that instead of spending an hour, you spent 2 hours. And so we were like, wow, he's going on and on. And that's what you do for people if they really need that.
Oh, yeah.
Because you know how it feels if they say it's still hurting. You work until the pain is gone?
You can't get everything gone in one try, but you try, you know?
You tried. I think you try.
Yeah. But the deal is, it's like, I guess the best I can explain it is I've got a chiropractor I work with to a degree, and he says that basically it's when he'll send somebody to me, the way he explains it to them is, so you're going to go in there and you'll pay for an hour. Don't expect to go home in an hour. So
that's a really good thing to do. And Chris is just wonderful that way. I want you to explain more kind of about what you do and why you do it when you're working with people, so that you know what Chris Craig and chronic pain massage therapy is all about.
Yeah.
Rick Vincent. A dozen people shot, at least 4 dead at the Pittsburgh synagogue. The gunman now in custody. 3 of those shot were police officers. Vice President Mike Pence says the president of Honduras tells him the migrant caravan heading to the U.S. border was organized by leftist organizations funded by groups including Venezuela.
It was organized by human traffickers and leftist groups that are, in effect, taking vulnerable people, many elderly, families, children, and marching them north without regard to their safety to make a political point and challenge the sovereignty and the territory of the United States.
Pence campaigning in the Southwest this weekend, rallying for Republican candidates in New Mexico, Arizona, and Nevada. Family members of mail bombing suspect Cesar Sayoc say he's deeply troubled and extreme and says he's mentally ill and lives in a fantasy world. You're listening to USA Radio News.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
When you call, use discount code USA, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code USA.
Collin County is one of the fastest growing counties in the country. From 2000 to 2017, McKinney grew by 200%, Frisco by 350%, and Prosper by 600%. From 2016 to 2017 alone, nearly 30,000 new residents moved to Collin County. We're expected to have 1.5 million residents by 2030, and by 2050, we'll have more than 3.5 million residents, surpassing the populations in Dallas and Tarrant counties. Collin County will continue to grow, leading to more jobs, more economic opportunities, and more traffic. Without new transportation infrastructure, your travel time wasted in traffic could triple. This growth is a compliment to the residents and businesses of Collin County. However, this same growth causes traffic, longer commute times, and lowers the standard of living. Vote yes on Collin County Propositions A, B, and C. This transportation solution does not increase our property tax rate, the debt service fund, and is for non-toll freeways. Vote yes on Collin County Propositions A, B, and C. Political ad paid for by Collin County on the Move.
This is a national health alert from the Healthcare Hotline. Are you on Medicare and or have private insurance and suffer from back pain? MD Topical has a solution for you. Today, you can qualify to receive a pain-relieving treatment, such as a comfortable back brace or a customized pain treatment at little or no cost. Call MD Topical toll-free now, 888-998-7225. It just takes a couple of minutes to qualify for these amazing treatments that have helped thousands of people with severe pain. Your personalized pain treatment will be delivered directly to your door. Call MD Topical toll-free, 888-998-7225, 888-998-7225, or go to mdtopical.com and get started on your road to a pain-free life. Call MD Topical toll-free, 888-998-7225, or go to mdtopical.com.
Hello golfers, Pat Wheeler here. Are you buying or selling real estate in today's whiskey hot market? Then call a pro. Call James Christie of Dave Perry Miller Real Estate. He's called Realtor Jim, and Realtor Jim will take care of business, your business. He helped me find a condo 2 years ago that I still love. Call Realtor Jim today at 972-365-4401. Realtor Jim, 972-365-4401.
Every to admit it's getting better, a little better all the time.
You're getting better all the time. Now back to Ann Beal on 1160 AM KBDT.
Welcome back. I just want to say, discover America's news from a Christian perspective. Point of view from noon until 2 every afternoon, only on 1160 AM KBDT, News Talk Sports. I also want to let you know I love John David Wilson. He's always on in the afternoon, and he is on from 2 to 5, so don't miss him. Chris Craig was sharing with us about chronic pain as a chronic pain specialist and massage therapist. Why he does it, he has a passion.
Yeah, that's one way to say it. Yep. So when it comes to pain, basically people hurting and all that type of thing, a lot of them don't even realize there's a way out on that. And they've kind of been told by their doctors or whatever, whoever, that, well, you're a machine, you break down. And you're not. You're completely changeable, and people just don't seem to get that too well.
So you're saying that, and that is so true, because people, when they start getting joint pain, they think like it's never going to go away. And I think MDs tend to tell them that. They give them pain medicine, but that's the only cure, right? And I think that for you, that's not true. You can get rid of it and be on your way again, which is our goal at Life Solutions, to be able to do that for people.
Yeah. And they're kind of, medical, traditional medicine, I guess I should say, as far as American medicine's starting to take a turn on that now. But the typical thing, if you back up 50 years ago, medicine-wise, it was pretty much, once you're broken, you're broken. Now they're starting to realize, no, because like a good example of that I use all the time that doesn't really work with medicine, traditionally, is the women in Africa who have these super long necks, right? If you take that to an MD and you get them to look at them, they're going to freak out and go, oh my gosh, immediate surgery needed. And the deal is, those women are fine. They live a life that, normal way, and they didn't get that way overnight. It took time and effort and change and all that. And the deal is, everything in your body can be changed that much to a degree over time. It's so when you're looking at a pain kind of thing, it's the same thing. It's okay. So maybe it got broken overnight, but that doesn't mean we're going to fix it in a day, but doesn't mean it's not fixable either. That kind of thing.
Yeah, good.
It just takes time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, you work it out of people. And then we also let them know about supplements. We cannot use the word cure here ever, right? We can do it as long as we're not talking about supplements. But we can use those same supplements on animals and say they're cured from chronic pain. But the FDA doesn't allow us to say cure for chronic pain for people. But basically what you'll hear us say is all your symptoms go away.
Or that, there are 900 diseases that are either preventable or reversible.
Yeah.
Through the use of supplements.
And so we had Dr. Wallach on to start that. But what Chris is saying is true. So some of the supplements, Dr. Wallach has glucogel that you can take. He has a healthy body start pack for bone and joint pain. Mm-hmm. And basically what it does is it builds back all the cartilage between the joints. And these cowboy athletes that get hurt, how do they get back so fast? They know all about supplements. They know all about building that joint tissue back. And so that's what a lot of lay people don't realize. You can get it all back. You could go to any health food store and ask them, how do I get my joint tissue back? And they'll have something for you there. May not be as good as Dr. Wallach's, but also, for just pain itself, there are EFAs, omega-3, 6, and 9s. Those are essential fatty acids. Those, if you've ever seen that commercial, Omega XL, those older people, my pain is gone. It actually works, but what
it even
you
works
want,
on younger people.
Yeah. And so we want you to get your calcium, get your EFAs, right? But we also want you to repair it and build it all back up. So Dr. Wallach used to say, just take Knox gelatin at the grocery store and put it in high calcium orange juice and drink as much of it as you can, as long as you can. So it can take up to 6 months if you do it. You can do it faster if you can stomach that. But a lot of people don't like the taste of that, so they just buy the gelatin capsules. People ask me about Jell-O. Okay, because Jell-O and gelatin are ground up chicken cartilage. So just to know that's there. Mm-hmm. But for what you do, why does it take so long? What exactly are you doing when you have people in for massage?
It depends on what's going on with them and what caused the issue. Good example would that be the difference of a person who's got a shoulder issue because of a car wreck. We know what caused it. It's the car wreck, or the person who's like the waitress who constant use and overtime, and she's just torn it down. And now, well, how long have you been a waitress? Oh, 13 years. And how long has your shoulder been hurting? Oh, the last 3. Okay, well, it took 10 years to break down. So, we start them back towards that. But again, the body has to repair. To do that, though, it's first got to clear out what's gone wrong over the last 10 years, and so you kind of get into that. But the other thing that some people don't seem to get is pain doesn't necessarily work in terms of, let's say I work on you, you walk out of my office, you feel great, wonderful. Doesn't mean you're fixed, because 2 weeks, a month, a year later, it can come back, and it kind of works in cycles. So the idea is to figure out what's your pain cycle and kind of work within that. And so let's say you go get something done, and some people, they got like these little injuries that pop up during weather or whatever. If you work on the issue and it feels better that day, but then like 2 weeks later it hurts again, okay, that's your pain cycle. So the idea is to get in within the pain cycle, work on it where it doesn't really ever hurt you. And then the idea is, and this is what every therapist should kind of be aiming towards, is getting that cycle longer. So let's say I work on you 3 times, and then 3 times it goes from it being every 2 weeks to a month. Good. Well, we gained, how much more difference of what you need out of that over the course of a year. And then, another 3 times it goes to a month and a half. That's the idea, is you're seeing progress, not where you don't ever want to get this thing of where, well, I'm going to need this for the rest of my life,
or you do, like, I know this is what Jim does. He calls you when he's in pain.
Yeah.
And then you work it out, but still he doesn't keep coming.
Right. Well, being nice to Jim, he should come more. But,
I know, right? Which leads me to say, Chris, you worked on my shoulder. It's been a while back.
Yep.
And I was having some pretty sharp pain in that shoulder when I would move my arm around and raise it over my head and things like that. It seemed like miraculous when I walked out of your office that day, and really appreciate what you did. And my pain has stayed away for a long time. Now I'm beginning just a little bit, which means maybe I should come back in.
Yeah.
But it hasn't. It didn't snap back into that acute pain very quickly at all. But
well, and you use it constantly, and so you find that you overdo it, and then you hurt it again. We're talking about his shoulder. And so he's constantly lifting, digging. We, always working. It's not his job, but you do stuff like that constantly.
PhD stands for post-hole digger. Didn't you know
post-hole digger. Yeah. Okay, so
I didn't know that. Okay.
We are in the Fort Worth, Dallas area. There's horses everywhere. And so, of course, we're in the big city today in Dallas. But yes, so a lot of these people we get in are like they're English jumpers, or they're ranchers working on their land with cattle, and they're not stopping. And people who ride horses, and they don't stop, and it doesn't matter how old they are. We get 70-year-old people who were jumping over something on their horse, and they fall off and injure themselves. And I'm like, okay, or 80. I'm like, maybe you should stop. No, they don't stop. And so they come in. And so really, if they keep doing stuff like that, you want them to keep coming in. But if it's long-term pain, like the lady the other day, and she's in a wheelchair and she's in pain, then it's ongoing. So you're really explaining why they want you to come back so much.
Yeah, in the ones that come, like, we just pick on Jim here. He realizes he has an issue. So good, we got to fix it. He did the right thing. He came in. The ones that worry me are the ones that are out there that are not coming in because it'll get better. And
or they're old. It is old age. And I can't tell you how much I hear that. Our pastor, he cracks me up because he talks about old age. Like, I'm just old. And he's not that old. He's really not that old. I think
I got the extreme view on this, but here it kind of goes. Okay. So we're all biblical people. The Bible's real. Okay. There's a guy who lived 1,000 years in there. How old are you? You're not that old. Come on. Your body's designed to last a lot longer. It's how are you treating it versus how he treated his.
Amen.
If he was doing to his body what you're doing at yours at your age, I'm 300 years old. I'm killing myself because it's just too much pain. No, you wouldn't do that, and that's what they didn't. So it's how they were treating nutrition wise. It's how they're treating it daily, how they're recovering from it, how much rest they're giving themselves, all this type of thing. And that's our system here. Just most people are overdoing it constantly, even when they're sleeping.
Rest, that's a novel idea.
I know, and rest helps. Rest is
you got to
good.
do it,
Yeah, I know that for me, running, for the longest time, I was a obsessive runner, right? So my hips, my knees, my back, and I thought I was going to be that way forever. It was hard. You would see me walk down the steps, walk up the steps. It was painful, right? And so learning about the supplements and what to do, I keep that at bay. And so I don't usually have to go for massage therapy ever, but I believe supplements are preventative. So I use them all the time. Most people don't. They don't know how to use them. They don't know that they're there and that they can take all their pain away. But a strain or a sprain or something like that, anytime that you don't want to live with chronic pain. And that's what we worry about, because when you live with chronic pain, not only physically can you get to this, to the point where you can't stand it anymore, which can get you to despair, but long term, like, people kind of minimize your pain because they're so used to you talking about it. They'll be like, how are you today? And you're like, well, my back is killing me. They're like, yeah, your back. Like, I already know about your back, of course, but that's like, yeah, but how are you otherwise? And they look at you like, otherwise, like, besides the fact that I'm dying of pain, I don't know, like, I'm fine. I mean, people do, minimize it. It's the tough thing about chronic pain. They just expect. So with my brother, it's like, okay, he lays in bed all the time. Yeah, how are you, Mike? It can just be like, how are you? They just get used to it and accept it as a way of life, or that they're just old. This is what happens to old people. And I cannot tell you, we went to a play last night. There was a playwright that we're friends with, and he found out he had a play that a school was doing his play. So we went. But there were people there, and everybody kept talking about what was wrong with them and their pain and this thing and their illness. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, people just accept it as normal. Like, we're just all broken down.
And see, whenever I let's say I'm in the same audience and I'm going, hey, I could actually help you with that, they look at me like I've lost my mind.
Oh, I know.
Yes, so I don't suggest, because I'm sitting here going, I could easily take your pain away. But I don't say it because they skip right over it. They don't believe it. I'm not an MD. They believe MDs, right? And MDs don't even take chronic in med school. They don't learn it. And so it's crazy. But it's what they need to know is they can get rid of it. Right. And so Chris, he is at our Life Solutions Clinic in both Hazlet and Azle. And so if you'd like to reach him, he is 817-232-1363. You can go on Facebook to Life Solutions Coaching and Counseling.com. You are there and amazing. Now, what do you do as far as when people come in? Tell me what's the hardest thing for you, because I know you get people that are just, and I don't mean necessarily pain-wise, but having them really understand the process.
You gotta, the cycle part's a lot to it, because you gotta explain to people, you didn't get this way in a day, it's not gonna be fixed in a day. So once I've convinced them, or, typically I tell them I'll work on you. First, I gotta convince them I know what I'm doing. Once I convince them I know what I'm doing, and they felt, oh, wow, that really did help, because, up until that point, they're just, I hope it does. And
they think that's an excuse.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so then once they get that, where they realize, wow, this is really going to help, well, then they go away, and we'll say the 2 week person, 2 weeks later, it's back. Well, do I want to do that again? Well, that's where the coaching of it comes in, and realizing it's going to take time for this to increase in terms of not being every 2 weeks kind of thing.
And we help them with that. We help talk to them about that. And then we also with supplements. We kind of combine. And of course, essential oils for massage and essential oils, we talk about those. There's lots of things that you can do. And you use different things when you massage. And so it's good to know that. What about emotional pain, Dr. Slaughter?
Well, yeah, and that's another part. I suspect that's even a part of what you do, Chris.
Oh, yes.
And let me just say this. I'm glad you mentioned that, because a very severe person, the person in the wheelchair, you worked on that person. And I remember watching, I was in my office when you were coming out of the other office with them, and you guys, they were joking, you were telling jokes, they were laughing, and I thought, good night, they're kind of upbeat people, but I thought it was so neat and very refreshing, but also healing, that you have the rapport with people that can leave them with a mood that is up here, not down here,
Oh, yeah.
And they just feel a lot better emotionally when they leave. And that's so much apart. I think there's a direct coordination or connection between physical pain and emotional pain.
Well, a person with depression is a good example on that, okay? Is just doing what I do these little tests as I'm going along, and I'll massage you, and you're completely relaxed, right? And so what I'll do is I'll take your arm and I'll pick it up, and I'll actually literally drop it, okay? If it's a person that's high tension, that arm stays in the air. So with depression, they're real tight like that all the time. And so it's like, you've got to get it to let go and kind of, and if they're uncomfortable with you, no. So it's all sides of it. And then the fun deal of that is, and this is why I like working with y'all, is some of the people, when you get that through that barrier and they trust you and all, here comes everything. And I'm like, I know people that can help you, but
that's why we're there, though, vice versa, back and forth. And I think one of the things is that they're both saying also, it's a great relaxation thing. It's great for anxiety and mood, because I see you guys when you come out of massage therapy, how you feel how you just feel so much better. And I think that's part of getting better is you want to feel better. So part of anxiety, depression, despair is massage therapy is such a great way to feel really, really good. So stay right here. When we come back, we'll say more.
Life Solutions Coaching and Counseling in Hazlet, Texas is a full-service wellness clinic providing individual, group, and family counseling, one-on-one coaching for life and wellness, and naturopathic treatments of medical massage therapy combined with essential oils to ensure you reach your health and wellness goals. Sessions are available in person or by phone. Get started on your new life today. Just call 817-232-1363 or go to LifeSolutionsCoachingandCounseling.com or email them at LifeSolutionsCC@yahoo.com.
If you're over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days, I have some important news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from television host and three-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now because we are about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-985-1813 now, and you'll receive a free copy of Josh Milberg's book, Next Gen Annuity Strategies Revealed. As a bonus, we'll also send you a copy of The #1 Mistakes Retirees Are Making with Their Investments Today, and a free DVD on how you can get up to 33% more income in retirement. Call 800-985-1813 now. Again, that's 800-985-1813. Employees of J.D. Melberg Financial have the appropriate licenses for the products they offer.
Want a great deal on a great car? Come to Central Auto House. Smart car buyers know that a quality pre-owned car can save you a lot of money. The industry leaders at Central Auto House all say, let someone else pay for the depreciation while you get a late model, low mileage vehicle to fit your taste and your needs. You'll find sports cars, SUVs, family sedans, trucks, and lots more. The Central Auto House team believes in fair prices and superior service. Check out their current inventory online at centralautohouse.com. That's centralautohaus.com. And test drive the car of your dreams in Dallas at 10550 Plano Road or come to 640 South Central Expressway in Richardson. You'll be impressed by the selection of cars, the financing options available, and their service during and after the sale. Central Auto House is more than a dealership, it's an experience. Central Auto House, Richardson, 972-437-5555, 972-437-5555, or in Dallas, 214-377-9010, 214-377-9010, or go to centralautohouse.com.
Have you written a book and want to get it published? Then call Page Publishing at 800-605-6995 immediately. That's 800-605-6995. Page Publishing is looking for authors of all types of books. And unlike most publishers, Page Publishing will take the time to review each and every book submitted to them and give you their feedback. If they like what they read, they'll get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, the Apple iTunes Store, Barnes & Noble, and other outlets. They handle everything: editing, cover design, copyright protection, printing, publicity, and distribution. So if you've written a novel, children's book, cookbook, inspirational work, poetry, or a biography and want to get it published, then you need to call Page Publishing and do it immediately. Call 800-605-6995 now for your free author submission kit. Again, for your free author submission kit, call 800-605-6995. That's 800-605-6995. Your road to fame and fortune could very well start with this simple phone call. Call Page Publishing at 800-605-6995 for your free author submission kit.
Some clod hit your car, causing an ugly eyesore you can't ignore, but you don't want to have to take weeks making an insurance claim to get it fixed. Now what are you going to do? Drive around in a dented car? No! Call Eye Candy Auto Body. Eye Candy Auto Body will get rid of your scratches and dents without forcing you to use your car insurance. Finally, there's an affordable way to get rid of your sweet rides, door dings, bashed bumpers, scratches, and scrapes. Eye Candy Auto Body. Eye Candy specializes in perfect repairs for all high-end models and sports cars, but they'll fix all problems on all makes and models. No auto body job is too small. Eye Candy Auto Body promises factory perfect repairs every time. Fast completion's guaranteed on bumpers, body panels, and other paint-related repairs. Got dents? You need Eye Candy. Got dings? You need Eye Candy. Car insurance deductible out of range? You need Eye Candy. Got a teen driver? You really need Eye Candy Auto Body. Make your car perfect again. Call Melody and schedule your free estimate today. 214-924-0959. Eye Candy Auto Body, 1908 West Mockingbird Lane, Dallas. 214-924-0959.
Wake up the echo.
Going in the end zone. Blocked down by Wooden. The game is over.
The Fighting Irish.
A rapid 95
and win just one for the gift.
So we understand that adversity is what we look for. Because in adversity, there's opportunity.
Glory awaits. Notre Dame football lives here.
Don't miss Fighting Irish football as Notre Dame takes on Navy tonight at 7 p.m. on your Dallas-Fort Worth home for Notre Dame football. 1160 a.m. KBDT.
I've got to admit, it's getting better. It's a little better all the time.
And now here's more Getting Better with Ann Beal on 1160 a.m. KBDT.
I want to encourage you to go back to see some of the previous shows. Dr. Jim Slaughter talks about healthy pleasures, and with our show on anger, if you go to Getting Better with Ann Beal on Facebook, I almost said Living Well with Ann Beal because I was on that one, but Getting Better with Ann Beal, you can see the past shows that we've done. And they're going to be on YouTube. They're just not there right now. I haven't had enough time, but they're going to all be there. My producer is going to put them there. But right now, Getting Better with Ann Beal Facebook, and you can see all those shows. And the one on anger, just dealing with anger, we actually had that show about the Kavanaugh hearing. We had friends that actually ended up in the ER over it, a couple of them. So we wanted to do that show to help you disperse stress in this time and day. It's very stressful. So just to be able to do that. And those are some of the skills you're going to talk about. I wanted you to finish, Chris. You had some things you wanted to say.
Yeah, so a lot of people get into this thing where you get, they don't really know where the pain came from. And just think about your body, okay? If you get sick, just think of how that plays with you energy-wise, emotional, everything that way. And then a lot of people come in, I get this all the time where they're coming in, they'll want something because their shoulder aches or whatever, and it's really they're coming down with a cold. And so I work on them and that kind of thing. And then, if I'm not taking proper precautions, I get the cold. But it's the same thing. So people misidentify that in their body all the time to where, that's just an example of getting sick. Then your body does the same thing whenever you take an injury. Just injure yourself, you work in the yard too long, whatever like that, and people are exhausted, and then they, it's your body's got to recover, it's got to repair. And so they look at that and they kind of go, oh, well, that's not what that is. That's just, I was tired that day. Now, but then you get in with us and where everybody gets into just their daily routine and they're hurting, it's going to drain their energy anyways, but then they're still trying to keep the same routine. It's just not going to,
Yeah, Chris, thank you so much. We're glad all three of us could be together talking about these things. And I wanted to encourage everybody to really, really this year, as you go through these winter months, think about choosing healthy pleasures that are good for you and avoiding the unhealthy pleasures that are not good for you. And
so just tell us some real quick.
Well, things
and if
like,
we run out of time, at least you're sharing them.
Okay. Nutrition, exercise, hobbies that you have. Some guys I know really love model trains, and so they have model railroads. Some people like to read books. Some people like to hike in the park or do rock climbing, all kinds of things like that. Whatever.
Playing the piano.
Whatever
reading.
brings you joy. That's a healthy
Yes.
pleasure, and it is not destructive in any way. Playing musical instruments is really good. Listening to music that you love is another thing. There are so many things. Hobbies.
Positive self-talk. Because I know
that's
that
true, too.
one of the things with Joseph and the suffering, what we wanted you to know is you will get through this. This will pass. This too shall pass. Any of those things that you can say to yourself to understand that God will use this for good. Anything like that you can say to yourself.
God has a plan.
God has a plan.
Yeah.
And he does. And so the cool thing is eventually we'll see all of it. But right now we can get really caught up in our situation and we can spiral downward. So positive self-talk is really such a good thing. I wanted to let you guys know that we are going to have actually Carl Ford on the 17th, the head of intelligence for George Bush, will be on November 17th. So I wanted you to know about that show. And next week, Thomas Jasayan is going to talk about don't blow all your weight loss goals that you've been working on and all that, your fitness goals. So just eat like crazy and come New Year, start all over. He doesn't want to start all over with people. So he'll be on next week, and we'll talk all about getting you ready for the fall when you're cocooning, what to do well. Okay, thanks everyone for being here. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Dr. Slaughter. Thank
pleasure.
you, Jim.
Thanks, Ann.
All righty, guys. And until then, just know, get better, and we'll see you back here so you can keep getting better.